Welcome to round 6 of the championship, where the drivers will take each other on at the challenging streets of Monaco. I am Roben. Let's have a look at the qualifying results. In a close qualifying session, we see Dan27 taking pole position, with XACP and Big Monkey rounding out the top 3. Then we got Romano, Greek Don't Lie, Dan27's Massa, EMRNL and Kex in P8. Red Tabor will start in P9, followed by Thatcher144, Killer Dan, Indrexon and Drudak did not set a time and will be starting at the back of the grid. This is the weather report at Monte Carlo. Both in qualifying and in the race we see beautiful weather with dry conditions throughout the weekend. For the race is joining me in the commentating box Nicholas Farr. How are you, Nick?
I'm not too bad, thanks Eric. Thanks for having me on. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. This is of course one of the most prestigious races of the season at the streets of Monaco. We are about to get underway.
Yeah, as you can see, Dan on pole. I think that's AZP on second place, EMRL 7th, and his teammate Red Tabor lining up 9th. Looked to be a pretty close grid. I think everyone was pretty close in terms of pace. Obviously Dan out front, the normal pole sitter, if you like.
Yeah. Lights are out and EMRNL gets off great at the start actually. He is already past Dan27's Massa, and Greek Don't Lie already has to take avoiding action there into turn 1, and side by side Romano here going really close. And
oh my god!
Romano just turned in there a bit into the wheels and clipped the wheels of the Lotus driver there, and yeah, that was just a horrific accident. I hope these guys are okay, and I hope they can continue. But meanwhile EMRNL taking advantage of that little scrap there and moving up to P4 already from a P7 start, so not bad, right Nick?
Yeah, great start for him. You could see in the bottom left, Dan also getting a good start off pole. It's good to see that whoever coded F1 took a leaf out of FIFA's book with the impact engine sort of fail there. It was a pretty epic crash. I'm surprised neither of those two destroyed their cars, but
yeah,
it looks like they had minimal damage. Yeah,
indeed. And as we can see, EMR now coming out at these final corners of the first lap. And that's completed one lap out of the 78 actually laps of this yeah, really long race.
It's definitely one of the most challenging on the calendar in terms of concentration levels all race long. I mean, especially 100%, 78 laps with those barriers.
Ooh. As
you can see, EMRNL, if you get it a bit wrong, you've lost the place just like that.
He just hit the inside wall there at Casino Square, and that allows Dan27's Massa through. So falling back to P5 now, EMRNL, but still hanging on here. Has to try and stay with him.
Yes, absolutely. Anything can happen at Monaco. I would like to predict there will be a couple of safety cars at least. If there isn't, I'd be very surprised.
There is usually at this place, as we can see, EMR now passing XACP now, who is in the pits for whatever reason. So XACP falling back to P5 and EMR now moving up now.
I'm surprised he pitted that early. He must have made contact with the barriers, lost a front wing or something, because that is far too early for a tyre pit stop.
Yeah, at only 5 laps in, he must have had an issue, something wrong with his car. Anyway, Dan27 is now comfortably in the lead. Big Monkey 57 in second place, and Dan27's Massa up into third now.
Yeah, it looks like it's shaping up nicely. You got EMRNL looking like he's conserving his tyres almost. That is one of the big problems that people find on this game, that it's kind of hard to push and conserve tyres, much like it is in real life this year. So it could be that EMRNL, as he makes another contact with the barrier there, could be just conserving his tyres and, you know, playing the long game, because it is a very long race.
Yeah. Still looking a bit struggling on this heavy fuel. The car is still very heavy, so drivers must be careful not to run wide or outbrake themselves, as these corners are really tight here, of course, and the walls are closing in.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this braking into turn 1 is actually, I think, one of the hardest points of braking, because there's a little bump just before you get to the apex, and on heavy fuel, if you lock up, you're going straight into the barrier.
Yep. Meanwhile, we see XACP coming back and fighting his way back around the inside, actually, of Ian Marnell there at turn 1. Skipping ahead now to the end of lap 6 it is, and we can see Ian Marnell trying to keep up with the pace of XACP, but XACP, although he had some issue with his car, he's now fully back in this race, it seems.
I mean, and there's the example right there. Ian Marnell locking up over the bump straight into the barrier, and he's going to have to pit for a new front wing, and that's going to drop him way down the field, especially going a full lap without a front wing. That is tough around here. I'm surprised he didn't lose a place, actually. He's done well to keep that in 5th before his pit stop.
Yeah, exactly, but we can see now Killer Dan is moving up into P5, and maybe Romano also gets the jump on him. So yeah, really hurting his race, as he had a pretty good start. A few barriers hit there, but nothing major, and this really puts him down yeah, to P7 now, and has to fight his way back up, but still a long race to go, only 8 laps in. And we are skipping to lap 11 now, where we can see some yellow flags here going on. Not sure what happened.
Someone must have made contact with the barrier. I mean, I know going around Casino Square, if you go around that too quickly, you can lose the back end. And Killer Dan's obviously had some sort of contact with the barriers, or maybe spun it, because he looks like he's got a front wing still. So he must have just spun, maybe.
Yeah, but this allows Ian Marnell to close right back on the back of him, and as they go into the tunnel, yeah, he still looks a bit too far away for now, but Ian Marnell will be looking away past him as Killer Dan, oh, and there he goes out of shape, and Ian Marnell just with a little bit of contact, but he did manage to overtake him there without damaging his car.
Yeah, I mean, Killer Dan must have started on primes, I should think, because those looked, that had all the hallmarks, and you see Romano going off there, those have all the hallmarks of a spin on worn tyres, because if you put the power down here, it's a very traction heavy circuit, and if you've got worn tyres and you spin the tyres up too much, you're going 180 every day, and that's obviously what's happened with those two events there.
We can see the Sauber of Indrek, I think it is. Is that Indreksen? Yeah, I think it is.
Yep.
And Ian Marnell will probably be looking to lap this car. And this is, yeah, disappointing for Indrek, as he is really struggling at the start of this race, it seems. Already a lap down to Ian Marnell.
I mean, yeah, we can see the leader coming in here on lap 15 for his pit stop, presumably going to put the prime tyres on. I think most of the front guys are coming in here. You see the Virgin crew getting ready, that must be for Big Monkey. Obviously Dan 27's Massa is staying out, because I can't believe he was nowhere near the leader, so that is not a position change proper. He is simply almost a pit stop ahead, showing the pace of Dan there.
Yep. Dan 27 Massa, so in the lead for just a bit, probably coming in anytime soon, but Dan 27, yeah, still conserving a bit of fuel here, still has +3 laps on his indicator, so that's looking good for him.
He's looking supreme out front there. He doesn't really even look like he's pushing the car to its limits, not really on the rev limiter, there's no slide out of the back. Just in control all the time. He knows he's got this, currently got a good gap to second, and he knows that he's probably got enough pace to see this one through to the end, but you know, anything could happen.
Yeah, he's really showing some dominance here, as he almost hit the barrier there, but double race winner in Turkey and Catalonia is fully back in the championship and in the lead, of course, so he loves this track, and he can really make a difference here, as Wooly 51 is absent from this race.
I'd say Wooly 51 is probably his main championship rival. Obviously, you saw Willie take wins in Australia, and obviously XAZP is also up there, taking wins in Malaysia and China. But on board with Big Monkey here, lap 17, in second, trying to fend off AZP, who will presumably on very worn tyres. And oh, what is that? What's gone on there?
I think there was some contact there between the Williams driver, and we can see the Williams driver of XACP is waiting for Big Monkey 57 to recover there, surely.
That is good sportsmanship there.
Yeah. As we are back on board with EMRNL on lap 18 now. Again passing XACP in the pits. I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe he has a regular pit stop, but it seems like XACP is much quicker in pace, but has some issues there.
I think he's, after that early pit stop, I think he's just out of kilter with everyone else, if you like. He's having to pit, say, 10 laps earlier than everyone because of that early pit stop.
Yep, and they're hitting the car of the McLaren driver a little bit. Going around the outside here, can he make it stick? And yes, he does make it stick. A brilliant move there by XACP.
That is a brilliant move around the outside of turn 1. Would have expected EMRNL to have just shepherded him out of room there, but clean racing by the pair there gave him some room, and he makes it stick. Yeah,
EMRNL realizing XCCP is much quicker also in the space, but a few blue flags now for the McLaren driver. That is Dan27 already lapping the guy in P5 here.
I shouldn't think it'll be long before Dan catches up with the guy in P4, XAZP. He's looking pretty quick. So obviously you see Drew Dog there. Is he unlapping himself there in P11, the Virgin driver?
I think so. Drew Dog unlapping himself there as EMR now got a little bit out of shape coming through those last corners. But right on the back of him here, we can see Drew Dog hitting the walls a bit from left to right.
Whoa, what the... That is pinballing in its finest there.
Yeah, that surely will give him some blue flags again, and has to allow EMR now back through.
Which I think he is trying to do there. Hugging the outside wall there. I mean, it was a good move by Drew Dog. If you're on the options and they were relatively fresh, trying to get through and pull away quickly to escape the blue flags, but a couple of mistakes means he's compromised himself further, and he's got to let EMRNL back through.
Yeah, a difficult situation here because EMRNL has a lot of laps in these tires already. We saw him pit a bit early because of his front wing change on lap 7, I think it was. So he's already got about 18 laps in on these tires, and Drew Dog obviously just on some fresh tires, much quicker than the McLaren driver at this point, but a lap down. And as we can see, EMRNL gets out of shape there again at this last few corners.
And you can see Drew Dog shaping up for a pass into turn 1. Oh, he's got that horribly wrong. That is just... What is that? Just what is that?
It was just a slight touch there, but pushes EMR now wide enough to make him lose his front wing again. And again also having to complete a whole lap without a front wing. That surely damages his race, as EMR now was up into P5 and now falling back behind Romano again.
It looks like that's going to put him probably... I mean, he had the gap to Romano he had about 10 seconds on him, I think. And this extra pit stop, lap without a nose, he's probably a pit stop behind now. So I think he's probably in the battle for 6th and 7th now with Greek Don't Lie, who looks to be pretty close to him as he comes out the pits.
Yep, Greek Don't Lie just gets the jump on EMR now as well, and fall back down into P7 now for the McLaren driver, as we are back on board with the leader on lap 32 here. Still looking very comfortable as there's a safety car deployed.
Ooh, safety car. What's brought that out? Was there an incident? Did we see an incident?
I think Indrexon has crashed out, but that was a bit earlier. So I'm not sure what caused it, but this surely will get the pack bunched up a little bit more, except for the people who are lapped. Of course, they are not allowed to unlap themselves. as these are still the 2011 rules applying.
That's a shame actually that they can't unlap themselves, as we see Dan coming in for some fresh tyres, taking a sneaky peek at the race director to see what everyone else is on so he can adjust his strategy accordingly. But you know, I suppose that's fair play. I mean, drivers in real life probably get told what their competitors are on, so why not take a look at the race director?
Yeah, as he puts on some fresh brines to have a look and go on a longer stint. Comes out into P1 comfortably, so we'll be looking in the lead for the restart. As we can see, EMRNL, does he pit or does he just stay? Yeah, he just stays out. Obviously has got some new tires on at lap 27, I believe it was.
That's a good call from EMRNL, staying out there. These extra laps in the safety car will conserve his tyres, and he may be thinking that he could possibly get back that time. And whoa, the safety car just parked in the middle of the road. What was that about? Did well to avoid that, EMRNL, but he may be what the? What is this? Absolute chaos at Monaco. There's a Virgin reversing into a McLaren. It's all going off. It's absolutely mental.
Yeah, I think Drew Duck didn't see the McLaren driver there, but it ends all well. As we can see, the safety car is coming in this lap. Lap 34 it is for Dan 27, and not for everyone, as he lapped a few guys. But
yeah, it looks like Big Monkey isn't actually in second. I think there's 2 back markers between the leader and second place. So
yeah, that surely will help Dan 27 at the restart.
He's not going to be under any pressure coming out this final corner. As you can see, second place Big Monkey in the left there. Everyone will have been trying to warm their brakes and tyres up and hopefully get through this first corner unscathed. And as Big Monkey absolutely plasters one into the barrier and loses his front wing, and that is going to be very costly. That's going to be, everyone's bunched up. That's going to be that's going to drop him way down behind, not behind EMRNL. So 6th place, I believe that'll be. Yep.
Really struggling to get this car pointing in the right direction now, Big Monkey. Really difficult situation again with all these guys behind him with the front wing, and yeah, he's trying to stay out of the way, but hits the Sauber there
and gets a penalty for it. I think the Sauber hit the inside wall there, and the back end came around and hit the Virgin driver, but nothing you can do about that. He's going to have to get a penalty and a pit stop for a new nose, so it's just going bad to worse for Big Monkey.
Yeah, it's turning out to be a dramatic restart here for Big Monkey 57, as he's falling down the field here.
And he gets and he gets spun by Greek Don't Lie. That's another tough situation you can see there. Big Monkey sort of left a gap and then turned in, and Greek went for it, and they just turned in on each other, so not a lot that can happen there.
Yeah, as we can see, EMRNL now right on the back of Killer Dan, probably going to lap him as he fenced off into the pits there.
Greek Don't Lie looks to be all over the back of EMRNL here, because I presume that is Greek Don't Lie. Looking into turn 1, EMRNL learns from his battle with AZP and cuts off the apex, but Greek Don't Lie going up the hill. What happened at the start? You've got to remember, Greek Don't Lie flipped Romano into the air, but he makes it stick this time.
Yep, great move there by Greek Don't Lie as he jumps up into P6. These guys battling for P6 now.
I mean, every point matters. I know we've said the championship leaders, Dan is obviously quite a bit out in front at this point, but I tell you, the midfield is pretty close currently. I think Big Monkey's on like 19 points or something, and EMRNL possibly on 25. I think there's only like a 7-point differential or something, so it's pretty close in the midfield.
Yeah, as we can see, EMRNL coming in again for some fresh options now on lap 44. Probably won't make that to the end of the race, so probably has to make another stop.
I mean, could EMRNL be praying for another safety car? I mean, it's a long shot, but you'd have thought he'd have gone for primes if he was going to try and be quick at the end on options, but maybe he's taking a gamble.
Yeah, he's well behind Greek Don't Lie. As we saw, the gap was already 40 seconds, I think, with Greek Don't Lie having to stop again probably. But again, blue flags here, and that is the Williams driver XACP, who has worked his way up to second. So yeah, it's turning out to be a good comeback for the Williams driver. And of course taking advantage of the unlucky incidents that Big Monkey, for example, had.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a good drive considering he had all those tyre problems at the beginning of the race.
Now skipping ahead to lap 49, we are still with EMRNL on board. The gap now 45 seconds to Greek Don't Lie, probably. Whoa, and he hits the inside barrier. We've seen him a lot struggling with those final two corners there in this race, going wide or hitting now the inside of that wall there. Yeah, not feeling great with this car. I think he's not really in tune with this car, it seems.
He did well to avoid the oncoming Virgin of Drewdog there, and we see Greek Don't Lie making a move on Big Monkey and just spinning him out. I'm not entirely sure what sort of move he was trying to pull there. I've never seen anyone go around the outside at Rascas before.
Yeah, that was a bit too optimistic. As we can see, Big Monkey 57 has to go into the pits to change his front wing probably. And also the leader in the pits now. This might be the last pit stop for him.
He's only got a 12-second lead to XAZP, so he's got to step on it. He's got to make sure he doesn't let off the gas, because XAZP is obviously looking pretty strong and making a charge possibly.
Yeah, and all these safety car situations really pushes the drivers, and Dan 27 has to push yeah, the whole race really to win this one.
He should be able to get to the end on those tyres though, so he's pretty covered now with a 12-second lead. I should think XAZP needs to stop again, so unless there's a safety car, you'd have to think he's got this one wrapped up. And Kex has destroyed his vehicle there, you can see it on the bottom of your screen. Is that going to be a safety car? That's what you have to ask. Oh, there it is, safety car is out.
Yep, and it seems that the prayers of EMR now have been answered. As you said, he could make good use of a safety car situation here, as he will this way, yeah, maybe catch up to the guys in front, where he lost a bit of ground too.
And this will not be good for the leader. He will not be happy about this, because this should allow the guys in second and third to close right back up to him and put on some fresh tyres.
Yep, the question is though, will the McLaren driver get a free pit stop here?
Greek Don't Lie destroyed their vehicle as well.
Yeah, what happened there?
Well, I have no idea. Obviously he's lost it under safety car, but that's a very strange situation. And Big Monkey disqualified. Oh, do we have any footage of this from Big Monkey? I mean, I know he records, so maybe we'll see that footage later.
Go now.
I hope we can see what happened.
It's very strange. As you can see, we're on board here. Greek Don't Lie up ahead. Seems to fly into the barrier, and then the safety car's in the middle of the road. And that is... what is that? That's just...
I think the safety car was a bit glitched maybe there, and took both of these cars out of the race, and that's just really disastrous for them.
That is a disappointing way to end after 54 odd laps of hard racing.
Yeah. We are back on the restart here.
Oh, what has happened there? I mean, you can see Dan in the bottom had, I think, the back marker in between him and XAZP, and obviously Killer Dan, I believe, has lost it on the last exit, and XAZP has just T-boned him. But that's going to help EMRNL make up some time on those guys.
Yeah, I think it's a tricky restart situation sometimes when you get green flags in the middle of the last turn, and you can definitely be caught off guard and outbrake yourself there. As EMRNL has to let XACP pass here, and he gets another blue flag for the guy behind him. That's probably the teammate of Dan27. Yep, in the HRT.
I'm surprised XAZP can go as quickly as he's going. It looked like he took a pretty hefty bump there on the front wing. So he's obviously not got as much damage as was first thought.
Yep, and Romano also has to be let through here. But Drudok just sneaks up in front of EMR now here, taking advantage of EMR now, slowing down for those blue flags.
Well, that's a good play by Drudok there, trying to latch onto the quicker car, Romano in fourth, see if he can just pull away and keep that sort of gap going and get dragged along, if you like. But it looks like he's on the option tyres again, so they must be pretty worn still.
Yep.
So he could have difficulties keeping it out the barrier, and we could see the same situation as earlier with EMRNL catching and having to repass a back marker. Hopefully it doesn't end the same way as it did earlier.
Yeah, exactly. That must be going through the mind of EMRNL as Drudok again gets some blue flags and EMRNL has to be let through here.
Gets nicely out of the way there, Drudok. I don't think he wanted to risk another possibility of accident.
But still right on the back of EMR now. Now into the sunlight, out of the tunnel, braking for this chicane here. Again, we have a situation where Drudok is keeping up nicely with EMR now, although he is a lap down still, or maybe even two by now, but.
It's kind of hard to keep track of all the lapped cars on Monaco, but I mean it's a hard situation to be in as in Drudok's position where you're faster than the guy ahead, but you don't want to cause any accidents because you know that
and there's contact and he spins him around and yeah, that's just really frustrating for EMR now, having two incidents with a lapped car. But Drudok, yeah, sportsmanship by him to wait for him. But I think the damage has already been done as EMRNL's teammate has passed him for a P5.
I think I hurt myself from face palming so hard at that move by Drudok. That was just, it was reckless. I mean, unless there was lag involved, I mean, we know what Codemasters are like, but he seemed to just completely take out EMRNL, and EMRNL and his teammate gets a penalty, and that looked a bit odd there. It looked like his teammate sort of slowed down to let him through, but it was all a bit odd there.
Yeah, I think EMRNL is not really into his zone anymore. Maybe he lost a bit of concentration there, but yeah, unfortunate to get a penalty, and surely that will be yeah, very hard for him to make up any ground now on his teammate. So. Yeah, I think it was Stager 144 in P7 now, already a lap behind, so he has no worry about that, but seems to be locked into a P6.
Yeah, it looks like that will be his race, providing he keeps it out the barriers. I wonder if Tasha's only a lap down, then he'll be on the same lap as the EMRNL, because obviously EMRNL has been lapped, I believe. But here he is serving his penalty, but that could be quite interesting if Tasha's got a bit of pace at the end. He could maybe challenge EMRNL for 6th, but we'll have to wait and see. It's whether EMRNL can get these tyres to the end. I should think he'll have to stop again.
Yep, skipping ahead now to lap 65. As we can see, he's still in P6, now 14 seconds behind his teammate, and wow, gets out of shape again. And just loses his rear there, hitting the pole, and that just spins him out and
makes the mistake of hitting the bollards of death, as they're known on Codemasters games. There's one at Malaysia. You saw Big Monkey in Australia. Bollard on the road, spun him right round. You got to be really careful of those because they're like they have a force field around them, and if you go anywhere near them, you're just going to get spun because they're indestructible.
Yep, and that seems to be the result of EMRNL just coming out, or his teammate just coming out in front of him after him making his stop, and he has got some fresh options on, so it will be hard for EMRNL to keep up with him, or even let alone pass him.
I mean, I should think it would be difficult for EMR to get to the end of the race on these tyres anyway. So I think if he's smart, he'll just shove it in lean maybe and just try and conserve his tyres.
Yeah. Well, of course he has been lapped, so maybe he gets to the lap 76, I think it is.
76 or 77, yeah. So it's feasible that he could be trying to go for it and just risk possibly getting a puncture. Avoids the bollard that time.
Well, still right on the back of his teammate, who is still on cold tires this lap, but probably is warming up now as EMR now gets a blue flag again.
So this will be lap 76 if this is Dan coming through, which I suspect it will be. He doesn't look to be making a move, and EMR now outbrakes himself.
Again on turn 1 there, as you said before, it's a tricky braking zone, and yeah, disappointing.
On the final lap now with Dan 27, comfortable lead, well, 7.3 seconds over XAZP, but pretty comfortable. He looks just to be taking it easy, conserving his tyres, making sure he doesn't get any punctures, which obviously have been hurting him earlier in the season in China and Malaysia, I believe.
Yeah, he's looking to try and make it with 3 out of 6 race wins now this season. Had a little bit, yeah, a troubling start. Also got very unlucky because he was dominant in Melbourne, we saw that, and a little bit less good as Woolly 51 there in the rain at Malaysia, but looking to make it 3 in a row now.
I mean, also in China he was pretty dominant as well until he got that puncture on the back straight. He was still leading by a good 5 seconds.
Yeah.
So it's been pretty good for him all season. He's just been a bit unlucky, but when he puts it together, not a lot that can get close to him.
As he comes down around the final corner, it is Dan 27 taking the victory at the streets of Monaco. And we can see his teammate here also coming around. P4, not a bad race for Dan 27's Massa. Red Tabor in 5th place, moving in front of his teammate EMR now. And we are on board with him now, coming around the final corners.
Loses the back end.
Bit of drifting going on there.
It's a good points haul for the McLaren team. Good points haul.
And the final race results are Master of Monaco Dan 27 making it 3 wins in a row, both Williams drivers joining him on the podium. A good race by Dan 27's Massa in 4th, Red Tabor finishing ahead of his teammate EMRNL, followed by Tadger 144 and Drewdog 727, who were the last to finish the race, as Killer Dan, Greek Don't Lie, Kex and Indrexen all DNF'd, with Big Monkey 57 being disqualified for hitting the safety car. After 6 rounds, Dan 27 has a solid lead over XACP, who moves up into 2nd place, followed closely by Woolly 51 and Romano. Further down the field we see Dan 27's Massa from I Am The Game, EMRNL and Greek Don't Lie now on even points. Then comes Indrexen, Big Monkey, Red Tabor, Tadger, Drewdog, Kex, Killer Dan, XJ and Mas 611. It's still very tight at the top of the Constructors' Championship, with HRT leading by 3 points from Williams, Force India losing ground with 2 drivers absent from the race. Both Red Bull drivers Greek Don't Lie and Tadger 144 have switched teams and are now driving for Lotus.
Thank you for having me on. It was good. It was great fun. And if you need a commentary partner ever again, you know where I am.
Yeah, thank you for joining us and or joining me really. I'll definitely invite you again if you want.
Yeah, absolutely. It was good fun. Absolute blast.